My name is Alice Banjakravi and I'm a TV news reporter. Well, in the last week I've done several interesting stories, very diverse. I went to Kew Gardens and witnessed the repotting of the oldest potted plant in the world. Yesterday I worked on an environment story, the Mayor of London announcing a huge package of investments to turn London green and promote recycling. So I was looking at recycling and things like that. I was working on a story about a hospital, an NHS hospital, having had a very negative report. And I was also looking at something to do with the fire service, using robots to deal with certain types of fires.
Okay. So is there any structure to a normal day?
Absolutely. The day starts with a morning meeting and all the journalists get together in the newsroom, we sit in a circle and we discuss the stories of the day and we work out as a group, but led by the editor in charge, what we think are the most important stories of the day and what we're going to show on our programme. And then we get given our stories, the stories are divvied up, and you as a reporter get given your story and then you go away and you work on that story to a deadline. And in our case, we have several news programmes during the day. The first one is at lunchtime at 1:30, and so at 9:30 you know that you're working towards a 1:30 deadline, that on 1:30 you're going to be on the television.
How did you get into it?
I had to retrain, I had to go back to university and do a postgrad in broadcast journalism. I then got into the BBC and worked as a producer in the newsroom, working with reporters, and then I graduated to become a reporter.
Okay. And what advice do you have for someone who's thinking about potentially becoming a reporter?
I think you have to have a lot of general knowledge about lots of different things, but it's also helpful to have areas of specialism so that when you come to a job interview or you approach a potential employer, you can say, I know lots of different things, but I know specifically about this area, and that's what makes you different. Because in their mind, the editor will then be thinking, this person knows a lot about medicine or science or history and can therefore add value to my team, because I don't have anyone who knows a lot about history or, shipbuilding or whatever it is, and therefore that'll make you different and make you stand out.
Okay. And lastly, Alice, what's the weirdest situation that you've faced whilst you've been doing your work that you can tell us about?
I face such weird situations so often. I think one quite weird one was being in a sewage reprocessing plant very early in the morning trying to catch water voles in South London. That was quite weird. But I'm regularly standing in odd places, like at the top of a tower or underground or in an excavation or in strange places quite often.